financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is, so what's the smartest play with the credit card debt? Brian Small, one of your favorite topics.
Always my favorite topic, Ken. A pleasure to be here this morning. And the smartest play is to get rid of the damn credit card debt, period.
Oh, boy. Ooh, he's feisty today, Ken.
The second man in blue, Pat Simasco, how are you?
Good. I bet you a lot of people, when this airs, are just getting their bills from over the holidays. Their credit card bills.
It's the second level of Christmas gifts.
It was spending season. Now it's pay up season.
So it's a tough situation. All right. So let's go to credit card debt. You've got way too much of it. Let's just go on the assumption that you've got $60,000, $70,000 of credit card debt. What's normally the simplest, fastest, best way of getting rid of debt, Brian?
No matter who you are, whether you have $60,000 to $70,000 worth of credit card debt, you have $20,000 to $30,000 worth of credit card debt, or even over $10,000 worth of credit card debt, you're in a bad place if you have that type of credit card debt. So what's the simplest way to get rid of it? File a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Utilize that opportunity to eliminate the debt at the least cost and the most effective method, period.
Hey, Brian, is there a certain dollar amount that you would recommend as being the minimum before you look at filing?
Yeah, I was glad you asked that, Pat, because you're not going to file bankruptcy with $1,000 of credit card debt.
No, but the answer is generally we look at $10,000 as being the threshold. However, if you are 78 years old and you're living on Social Security with $775 a month, $6,000 or $7,000 is too much debt for you. It's individual to the individual.
We knew that. I could feel that coming.
But the threshold number I would work with is $10,000.
I mean, there's a relativity factor that goes to it. If you're making $200,000 a year, then there's probably other avenues that you can explore to get rid of $10,000 of credit card debt. But the crazy thing is that credit card debt that you're paying interest on is wasting money because you end up with zero in the way of saving money. You just keep burning through your funds.
Hey, Brian, let me ask you a real question. My daughter just got into the working world and she's got a credit card. What's the recommendation to the young starting out working people about what to do with the credit card? When do they know that they're starting to get into trouble?
So first of all, there's a real dichotomy there because I'm a firm believer in cash is king and that you shouldn't use credit cards, except credit cards are a great vehicle to help you develop your credit. So I just was having this discussion with my stepdaughter the other day about how she can develop her credit. And I said, well, you take out a credit card, you charge on it every month, and you pay it off every month. Okay? And eventually your credit score is going to improve because of the usage of the card, and you're going to be given more credit and you're not going to have any debt associated with it. Young people need to develop their credit so they can buy that car and buy that house and do all the things that they want to do. The problem that they run into is that their wants become greater than their needs. And
so as they can't pay it off at the end of the month, is that
absolutely?
Absolutely.
That's
so
the key.
To me, what I've done with my kids is right off the bat, first of all, everyone's using credit cards, particularly in this online world right now, where you're shopping online for the most part. And even in a store, you don't want to tender cash because you don't even want to hold the cash.
No one's got cash anymore. Everything's got
You're better off not using your debit card on a regular basis, because if there's a security leak, then the person's getting access to your bank account. But the thing that I emphasize to my kids, without even opening the door to the discussion, is yes, you absolutely have to pay off that card every month. You never want to pay interest. And I'm trying consciously to brainwash them that way. Because the thing that I realized a long time ago is what we pick up and learn as children and young adults becomes impressed upon us, and it's like lodged in us, and it doesn't change. It becomes part of our DNA, and you move forward with. If you have defective DNA that comes from the standpoint of saying, oh, great, I got a new charge card with $30,000 of available credit, that means I got $22,000 to spend, that is not going to work well in the long haul.
That's true.
And you're going to have a credit card. You're going to have problems. I want to talk about how do we get rid of the credit card debt. Let's assume, Brian, bankruptcy doesn't work because you have too much equity in your house, or you're one of these people, you're making combined income is $125,000 a year for mom and dad, but they've managed to pull together and they got $50,000 of credit card debt. What are your options there?
Well, we can look at Chapter 13, which allows you to eliminate your debt by restructuring it and paying what you can afford. Or we can look at debt resolution, which is settling your debts for pennies on the dollar.
How do you decide which one you do?
I'm sorry?
How do you decide which one to do?
You decide by looking at the facts. And at the end of the day, which one has the better result? Which one pays less? Which one pays sooner? Which one affords you the best opportunity? We do the analysis to...
Right. So is the takeaway here, you want to analyze to figure out which one gets you out of debt the quickest at the least cost?
Yes. And you know what? Maybe we should show this by doing a case study.
I was going to suggest that, but we're coming to the break. But let me introduce our people, and then we'll talk about it after the break. Richard and Vivian. And now, before we get to the specifics, what show does that ring a bell for you?
Unfortunately, my least favorite movie ever.
And with that, we will take a break.
COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We were here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV GROSS will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Will I outlive my money?
Medicaid is so confusing.
A will, or do I need a trust?
What if mom needs to go in a nursing home?
At Samasco Law, we have the answers to all of these questions. Our attorneys will eliminate the confusion and develop a plan that's right for you. We are dedicated to veterans benefits, assisted living, and nursing home care. Samasco Law can help prepare you for a long future. Call Samasco Law today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. So Richard and Vivian, what was the movie that I was prodding you guys on?
Pretty Woman, which I...
Oh, that's my favorite. I love that one.
Oh, yeah, right.
I have to confess I'm guilty that I happen to like that movie. I have always liked that movie.
I just don't like Julia Roberts. I never cared for her.
Yeah, I like Richard Gere, and I like Julia Roberts. So.
Ken, if they're going to do a life story on the life of Ken Gross, Richard Gere could play you.
There you go.
No, his hair's too gray. Richard's hair is too gray.
All right, let's talk about Richard and Vivian, our case study clients, not from Pretty Woman. They're in their mid-40s. They have 2 children. They have combined income of $150,000 a year.
Good income.
They have a house worth $450,000. First mortgage, $300,000. No second mortgage, so they've got $150,000 of equity in the house. They have $200,000 in their 401ks. So their net assets are $450,000. All good so far.
40's pretty good.
Okay. They've got $100,000 of credit card debt.
Not so good.
Their net worth is the $350,000 minus the $100,000 is $250,000. Now let me give you their budget. Their net income per month, assuming they're in a 22% tax bracket at $150,000 a year, gives them $97.50 cash to pay bills per month. Mortgage is $23.50. They're paying $2,500 a month on those credit cards. 2 car payments, $800, gas, utilities, cell phone, life insurance, school functions for the kids, $600 a month, clothing, $500, food, $1,000, entertainment, $800. Total expenses, $9,850. They're negative $100 every month. So, Brian, what's the strategy for them? Are they at Chapter 13? Are they at Chapter 7? Or are they debt resolution?
Well, they're not at Chapter 7. They make too much money. And because they have money left over in their budget, which you just said they were negative $100, but they're paying $2,500 a month in credit card bills. So
and $600 for school functions.
Right.
And $800.
They have a surplus of income, which is dramatic. So when you look at Chapter 13, would that work for them? And you do the analysis, you take their income, you adjust some of their expenses because there are certain expenses that just are not reasonable.
As you're speaking, I'm doing the magic adjustments and posting them up on the screen. And to see if you agree, I'm coming up with total expenses that would be allowed in a Chapter 13 of around $5,500. Does that sound right?
It does, and it actually doesn't. The numbers are correct, but because they have sufficient income to pay $100,000 in full over 60 months, that would be how much money we would need in a Chapter 13. They could have a surplus of income and still pay the $100,000, but you're talking about it would cost them roughly $2,000 to $2,400 a month for 60 months in a Chapter 13.
So they wouldn't get any discount on the credit cards, basically.
No, yes, they would. They would pay absolutely no interest.
But other than that, they'd get no other benefit.
They would pay the principal back in full. In this situation, Chapter 13, while an available choice, doesn't make sense.
All right, let me give you the other alternative that you haven't raised. Jerry, the bartender, or the mortgage guy says to him, refinance your house. You can pull $40,000, you can pull $60,000 of cash out of the house, still leaving yourself $20,000, 20% equity, and borrow from your 401k for $40,000. That's $100,000.
Don't do it.
Credit cards.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And you wait, but that'll protect your credit score.
Okay, number one.
Wait. Would you care for another drink too? I'm Jerry, the bartender.
Oh.
Okay. So number one, never listen to Jerry the bartender, period. Listen to Brian Small, listen to Ken Gross, listen to Pat Samasco, but do not listen to Jerry the bartender.
Unless he's talking alcohol.
Yeah, true. He might make a great martini.
About scotch.
This Jerry's idea is nothing more than, you ever heard the expression, shifting deck chairs on the Titanic?
No.
Well, that's what he's doing.
Wait,
say it again. That's a new one, Ken. I never heard that one. Slow down. Slow down.
Give this to us again.
Shifting deck chairs on the Titanic. A completely useless concept because you're still going to sink.
I like it.
What was the name of the ship that sunk not that long ago out in Italy?
Concordia.
The Costa ship.
Costa Concordia.
That one. The lesson to be learned if you were on that ship or any other ship is go the opposite direction of gravity and you shall survive.
Yeah.
And do not listen to what the porters tell you.
Anyway, let's get back to Richard and Vivian.
Down, you go up.
Richard and Vivian should not listen to Jerry the bartender. Their opportunities are Chapter 13 or debt resolution.
And I want to put up another number on the screen. If they did listen to Jerry the bartender and they borrow from their 401k, they're going to have to pay their 401k back $750 a month, and they're going to increase their mortgage expense by $200 a month. So they're going to end up paying $950 a month over their budget just to get rid of the credit cards, and they've lost the equity in the house, and they've lost a big factor of their asset value in their 401k. Is that the reason why not to do it?
That's more than enough reason not to do it.
All right, we take a break. Let's see how debt resolution will work to solve their problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
A lifetime of hard work. If you don't have the right plan in place, you can lose your home, your savings, and more. And you didn't come this far to lose everything. Samasco Law wants you to know that laws are changing. Today, the average cost of nursing home care is $85,000 a year. With proper planning, we can help protect your life savings and get you the Medicaid and nursing home benefits you deserve.
How much can you afford to lose? Call Samasco Law today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays, 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays, 7 o'clock a.m. And then on KISS 105.9, Sundays, 7:30 a.m. every week. Law and Reality is happy to announce a free webinar. Stay in your home, attend our webinar via the internet. You can watch it at the time of your choice and at your convenience. Just go to thavgross.com or lawandreality.com on the homepage, click webinar, and you'll be taken right to the webinar, and you'll have Brian, myself, and Jeff Linden presenting to you. We're going to talk about how to eliminate your debt and get a fresh start and live debt-free for 2021. Remember, to be free, you must be debt-free. We'll address all the methods that we use to preserve future income, get rid of the debt so that you can start saving money in the bank rather than giving your money to the bank. There'll be a special segment on small businesses facing debt and closure issues, learning your best options of when to use bankruptcy and when not to file bankruptcy. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. You can always come in to THAV Gross for a free consult. We're doing teleconferences, phone conferences, as well as proper social distancing for in-office meetings. Whichever you prefer, we can accommodate. You want to call 888-235-HELP or go online to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business issues, elder law issues with Pat, disability issues with Jeffrey Kirshner, criminal law issues with Scott Weinberg. Just reach out to us. We're happy to help you. When you come in and you get a free consult, it's not a meet and greet. It's an analysis of your problem with a specific developed plan as to the best and optimal solution to that problem, so you know what your options are and you know how to implement a plan to resolve the problem. Also, take a look at the free reports that are online. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solution by myself and Jeff Linden, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan, and also the Retiree's Guide from Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
COVID-19 presents a fight for our personal and business financial survival. You have to make choices. Cash is critical. Do you tap your retirement, home equity line, or run up the credit cards? You need the right plan to avoid being wiped out, and you need it now. You can't rely on the government or banks. Call us. We're the experts in financial crisis. We were here for you and your business in the Great Recession, and we're here for you now. We will create a plan and get through this together. THAV Gross will solve your problem.
All right, so we're back. All right, so Chapter 13 is not going to work for Richard and Vivian.
Well, again, Chapter 13 can work. It doesn't make sense in that situation.
Too costly. We want to come up with the cheapest, quickest way of getting out of debt.
If their income was dramatically lower, and so they only had, say...
Well, let's talk about that when we get to it, because I'm going to change your facts. I want to talk about how do we take care of Richard and Vivian based on the facts I gave you with the 150. How does debt resolution work, and why is that is that the solution?
It is.
Because Jerry, the bartender, says refinance.
Again, go get your martini from Jerry. Listen to me when it comes to this.
Well, tell me why.
Because we're going to utilize the power of the minimum monthly payment to get Jerry and Richard and Vivian out of debt.
All right, the minimum monthly payment, they're paying $2,500 a month on their credit cards.
Right. Now, they're actually negative $100, so I would work it to see if you could do it at $2,400, but we'll use $2,500 for the math purposes right now.
They got $800 of entertainment money and $600 for school. So they got $1,500 of flush in their budget. We
look and see if by how much debt they have, if we take the minimum monthly payment and we multiply that by 24, which is 24 months.
That's $60,000.
Is that enough money to settle all the debt over a 2-year period? If it is, then debt resolution makes more sense than doing a Chapter 13.
All right, and let me throw some numbers up on the screen. Our average settlement that we figure when we can settle debt is around 38%. Sometimes we settle a card for 20%, sometimes even 15%, but sometimes there's settlements that are 65 and 70. It depends on the company. But we also have attorney costs, and in their circumstance, you have to realize when you settle debt, it's a taxable event.
Only if you're solvent.
Because
only
they're
if you're solvent. For most people that are doing debt resolution, it is not a taxable event.
Okay, in Richard and Vivian's case, you agree with me, they are solvent, so it would be, right?
Correct.
So here's the numbers. With that $60,000 budget, $38,000 to settle the credit card debt, $5,400 in attorney costs to the fee for us to do this, $13,640 would be their tax on the settled debt. Their total cost comes to around $57,000. But here's the point. That's just 24 months of the $2,500 payments they've been making. At the end of the 24 months, how much credit card debt do they have?
Zero. They have
From
zero
that
credit
point
card
forward,
debt, and they're $43,000 in principal ahead, and they've saved, if they're just paying the minimum monthly payment, they've saved $100,000 or more of interest.
All right, now I'm going to give you a choice between one or two questions to answer, Brian, because we're down to 2 minutes. You can answer their question of what about their credit score, or I can throw you a different one and say, if their income was $85,000 rather than $150,000, what would you do? And if you can answer both questions in 1.5 minutes, you win the special prize of the week.
Great. Well, I'm going to take that special prize because the answer is if they had $85,000 worth of income.
No, I'm kidding.
If they had $85,000 worth of income, that would mean that they would have a smaller amount of money left over in a surplus. So now, if their smaller amount of money is in the surplus, would be less over 5 years or 3 years, because actually they're a below median couple with a family of 4 at $85,000 worth of income. If they'll pay back less in a Chapter 13 than they will through debt resolution, Chapter 13 makes sense.
Do they get to keep their 401k and all their assets?
They get to keep their 401k. They get to keep their house. They get to keep their cars. They get to keep everything. It's a matter of which one makes more sense. With the change in income, Chapter 13 makes more sense. Now, you answer your second question. What about their credit score? I don't care about their credit score. Nobody should care about your credit score when you're doing this. Credit scores heal. When the debt is gone, things get better. It heals. You come out of it on the other side with no debt, and you come out of it with a better credit score at the end, and you're debt-free, and you get to live with as cash is king, and cash is king is the most important thing on the planet.
You get the prize. So real quick recap. If you've got too much income, it's debt resolution to get rid of the debt. If your income is lower, it's Chapter 13. Any way you cut it, you want to get rid of the credit card debt. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.